What is going on? Oh wow. To my Sagittarius, whatever. Hope y'all are having a great day. Listen, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button so that this video could get up in the algorithm. Make sure that this video gets at least 150 likes. But listen, you Sagittarius, what's up with this glare? But whatever. You Sagittarius have the Five of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Two of Swords here. These three cards right here for you Sagittarius really speak to you have you had some people in the past who really thought of you Sagittarius as being like someone that they can essentially replace, and now they're coming to find out that they can't. Because the Five of Pentacles is all about how they're on their hands and knees, literally in the picture. They're on their hands and knees wishing that some of you Sagittarius really was coming back. They really are wishing that you Sagittarius are coming back. 100%. The Emperor and the Two of Swords is about because how the two of you ended up getting there in the first place was they wasted their time. They wasted their own time. They tried to waste your time. And you Sagittarius really don't want anything to do with it, in the sense that like that's how it is that they end up playing themselves, because you Sagittarius decided to stay away from the jump. Y'all didn't want anything to do with them. When you started to see this relationship going down a terrible or worse and worse and worse rabbit hole, you Sagittarius is like, nah, you gotta bounce. You gotta dip up on out of here. So a lot of you really do have to understand that for you Sagittarius, the best thing for you that you done between yourself and this past relationship, this last one that you just experienced, was to leave these people alone. Because ultimately, they really aren't going to be doing anything for you. All it is that they're going to be doing ultimately is really just wasting your time. So the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool card now is about how, since that's the case, the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool is about how, so it's raining outside and there's cops. This is definitely New York, son. But anyway, the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool card is about you, Sagittarius, really understanding that anyway, sorry about that. What is up with this? But anyway, this is New York, son. The Wheel of Fortune and the Fool is about how you Sagittarius ultimately, you've got that burden off your back of dealing with this person. It was at a point where you Sagittarius really started to look at them like they were a burden. And they are a burden, right? They were and they still are a burden, because you Sagittarius really happen to be in a situation where, like I said, y'all really didn't like where this rabbit hole was going. You didn't like this funnel that this relationship was in, right? A funnel transports you from one place to another. So you didn't like where this relationship was going. You didn't like where the ship, right? Like a cruise ship or something, like any ship was going. A lot of you Sagittarius, I guess a lot of you Sagittarius really stuck around. No, I know for a fact, a lot of you Sagittarius you stuck around. But at the same time, you stuck around as long as you could. But a lot of you Sagittarius was like, you know what? You started a peep game as to how far it could go. And a lot of you Sagittarius was able to see the writing on the wall. And you was like, nah, you're not really with the direction of where exactly this relationship is really going in the first place. Because you've been down this rabbit hole before. You've talked straight. You've been in this situation before. You Sagittarius know what it looks like and what it feels like to get played, right? We all played the fool. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm the most player person in the world. Each and every single one of us have been in that fool's position, right? This is why it is that you got the fool. We've all been in that fool's position where we felt like we really cared about somebody, and we did, but the person didn't take us seriously. They looked at us like we were trash, and they didn't value us when we had a chance. They really didn't. So what they ended up so what they would end up doing is they would throw us to the wolves while you sat where, because I've been in that, everyone's been in that situation before, right? And what you Sagittarius did is what a lot of anybody that has common sense will and the will to go on do. Is to essentially just kind of, collect the pieces, right? Collect the pieces of yourself. Pay attention to what happened, right? Especially when it comes to remembering what happened. Because ruminating or going down the rabbit hole of thought is something that we all do at some point in time. And then we just essentially, if anybody that has any kind of self-respect, and the will to go on, we recollect ourselves and we strive to do better. We strive to move forward. And that's what it is that you Sagittarius ultimately did. That's why a lot of y'all got the Fool. This is why you Sagittarius, in a general sense, you have the Fool. The Fool is really about a person that sees things for the way that they are, and they don't. The Fool is the most powerful card in the tarot. Okay? It's in the tarot. More powerful than everything. The Emperor, Empress, everything. Because it's a person that doesn't really have a whole lot to lose. Among many, a long laundry list of reasons why it's the most powerful, right? Doesn't have a lot to lose, everything in the world to gain. It is formless, which means that it can take any kind of shape. It's adaptable. And that's where a lot of you Sagittarius is in position. A lot of you are very much so formless. You can take on any shape because you've been through it all. You've been through many a heartbreaks, many a people trying to run game on you. You've been through that. You've been through it already. And this is the rebirth. This is the evolution that you Sagittarius have, right? This is, the cards are still kind of praising how a lot of you Sagittarius should feel proud about yourselves. And what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say, yo? Not feel limited by what you've got going on, or the way you have been limited before. A lot of you Sagittarius need to move forward with your dreams and your hopes and whatever it is that you want to do. And I'm getting a lot of these notifications, but the Star card represents how a lot of you Sagittarius, the Star card is really about how Star card in the Chariot really speaks to how you'll have brand new people that you will meet. So it's not like you will never meet brand new people again. The Star card in the Chariot, you'll have brand new people as long as you're out here trying to date and we're getting into another level, as long as the stage is set, right? And what I mean when I say set the stage or set the table, so to speak, as long as you are positioning yourself as much as you possibly can towards being in a relationship. If you're a Sagittarius that is healing from your own personal relationships, you've learned from your mistakes. Learning from your mistakes is a big one. It's a serious one. Don't get paranoid, but because you don't want to get paranoid, right? Because the minute you start getting paranoid about certain things is the minute you really stop allowing yourself to be in a relationship. Like when something happens that would normally happen the way that a relationship would, if you get paranoid about that type of stuff, you'll start to be like, oh, well, your ex had this what happened to you because of your ex or whatnot. And you don't really want to think like that, right? You don't want to be thinking about, well, anytime this person is trying to reach out to you or do something with you and for you, right? The two of y'all are in a good relationship or something like this. They're not really giving you any kind of reason why you would panic. You just panicking. You don't want that, right? So definitely you dealing with your own personal issues, you are setting yourself up for success by doing that. Because you Sagittarius are actually able to move forward and meet brand new people, which in essence is what it is that you're supposed to do. Like, past relationships are kind of really the past unless they actually learn their lesson and you really want to give them another chance. Past relationships are really something that you're supposed to leave in the past. I know how difficult it could be. I know. I know personally. But a lot of you Sagittarius are moving in the correct direction. The Eight of Cups represents, the Eight of Cups represents, now it's up to you Sagittarius to realize who's the master, essentially. You know, if you've ever seen The Last Dragon, the movie with Timac, it's one of my favorite movies, actually, even though it came out before my time. I was born in 91. That movie was in the 80s. But it was before my birth. But I still love the movie because I got a chance to see it, right, when I was growing up. In the movie, they're talking about who's the master. And Timac, or the Last Dragon, had to go on this around, you know what I mean? Like this whirlwind of a trip. Ironically, through New York City, as a matter of fact. Lower East Side, as a matter of fact. In Chinatown, as a matter of fact, right? And he learned from his experiences, he is the master. But he had to go through trial and error, is the point. He had to go through that. And the Eight of Cups represents the one thing that you Sagittarius are missing now is for you to kind of like ping off of, or hit, or reach, or touch, or absorb that light, to draw in that light, to understand that you Sagittarius actually are the masters of your own life, in the sense that once again, if you know what I'm saying, like, if you are doing the best that you can to become better, right, in relationships, right? I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The ideology of you are what it is that you attract is not necessarily what you think it means. Like, a lot of times people are taking that term, you know, and I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm bashing anybody, because a lot of people tend to have that mentality of it being like this. But this is not one of those cases. This is the realization that you Sagittarius need to understand. That it's not a delusional case of you are what it is that you are attracting. In the sense that you Sagittarius are not, just because you come across a couple of hooligans, some shenanigans, some hooligans, you know what I mean, does not mean that just because you come across hooligans does not mean that you are garbage. That's not what that means. I've said this many times before. I don't have a problem saying it again, because I love my subscribers. I love my family. I look at y'all like part of the family. But yeah, so like, I told y'all I'm getting better. I told y'all. I told y'all. But it's like what that means is that you are, in essence, what it means when they say that you are attracting it. It means that you're in a relationship with them. And, you know, to a certain extent, they're right, in the sense that, like, yeah, you bringing them in because you believe the world about them. Like, when you first start out with it, the person is putting their best foot forward. Or maybe you did think the world about them, even though they didn't put their best foot forward and they were already dysfunctional to begin with, right? But you love this person and you had a real attraction for them. Then as time go on and you realize why these traits are not virtuous, why they're not any kind of relationship building skills, now you Sagittarius begin to understand you can't take them seriously, right? So what happens? You self-reflect, you look at it within yourself, and then you learn some things legitimately that you need to change. Yeah, you do need to become better at being able to sniff out who are frauds and who are not. However, you are not going to be perfect with it, because what doesn't come out in a wash comes out in a rinse, in the sense that just because you don't immediately detect them doesn't mean that you will not detect them, right? You are what it is that you attract, right? Means that for a long term, you in a dysfunctional relationship, you coming up with excuses for it. You don't ever learn from it. That's one of the things that separates it from you just not the right one, is if what did you learn from the situation? Those type of people who will go back and forth with the same person for eons, and you know what I mean, for years, and then like they continue to make excuses for them, and it's like, but then they're always complaining. Those types of people, that's not your situation. The Six of Swords and the Ace of Swords now is about you, Sagittarius. You are looking at what makes a person a person, right? You are paying attention to that. And like the next thing that you need to do as well is to understand that you are the master in every area of your life, in a sense that stop looking at relationships like you should stop looking at relationships the way that you are normally accustomed to. You, Sagittarius, I was just eating, but you, before I turned on the camera, but you, Sagittarius, have looked at yourselves from a loser's perspective. And it's time to stop doing that, because if you're decent and you're stepping your game up, and what is there not to like I've said before, if you are intellectually honest and you are addressing those things within yourself, what is honestly not to like? So I see a lot of you Sagittarius have spent, you have to mentally get over that too, right? Get over the ideology that, stop playing games. You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't tolerate games, don't play games, don't tolerate games, and just be mindful. Be mindful of yourself. Be mindful of how other people are treating you. Be mindful of how you're treating yourself, right? Be mindful of how you treat other people, right? Because sometimes we all can be mindless about how we treat others. And the remedy for that is to learn to be more mindful. If a person is treating you well and you are getting to know them romantically, then relax. This person hasn't shown you anything that would set off alarm bells in your head. Same thing if this person is treating you kind of trash, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like trash. They're not necessarily really socializing with you. They're not actually putting in any kind of effort. They're not really doing any of that type of stuff. Pay attention to that too, and pay attention to know like, oh, you don't really take them seriously, because they're like drifters. They just kind of go all over the place and not really paying you attention. And then you realize that this relationship can't work if they're not really putting in effort. That's something that you really got to essentially, someone that you should stay away from. So overall, this reading is great. Let's clarify the Ace of Swords. The reading is great because, the relationships is something that you are specifically focusing on, but the whole realization, right? The whole Eight of Cups, the whole realization that you need to understand that you are the master is really with your entire life. That's really with kind of everything, The way that I look at relationships, let's clarify the Ace of Swords. The way that I look at relationships is nowhere near how I look at relationships back then. I used to be a person that was easily fooled because I wouldn't pay attention to the obvious signs. I'm going to admit that. I wouldn't pay attention to the obvious signs, and that would come back to haunt me. But as I got older and I started to learn from my mistakes, I realized that not everything is my fault. Not everything is my fault to be in a dysfunctional relationship. This is not my destiny. A lot of these people want me to pay. A lot of these people don't have the mentality of, kind of, growing up. A lot of people don't, they bent on giving me a hard time. A lot of people don't even want to give me a chance. So let's clarify the Ace of Swords, the Hermit, Four of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, High Priestess, and then the Five of Wands. Yeah, the Hermit and the Four of Swords represents, watch out for anyone that you are courting or trying to get to know right now who is charming, but they don't understand what they want. It's multiple things. That's why it took me a second. They don't understand what they want. They don't really have a sense of direction in the sense that they're just going out on this date and like they don't really understand what it is that they want. They're just going out on this date and they don't really have any kind of plans. They don't have any plans to really make you to see where the two of you can go, see if y'all could actually be in a relationship. Nothing. That's something that you need to see. That's something that you need to pay attention to. Like if you're meeting people around this time, just in a general sense, but specifically around this time, and you Sagittarius are meeting people that are kind of hard-headed with how they approach that, then you Sagittarius may want to leave those people alone and go rock with people that are a little bit more mutable, for a lack of a better word. Because ironically, because the Seven of Pentacles and the High Priestess are about that. It's about, a relationship is about two people building something. And one person just can't be building, right? One person just can't be building. The Five of Wands represents how, the Five of Wands represents how, because that's going to create a lot of arguments. That's going to create a lot of fights. The Five of Wands is friction. So it's like the two of you are going to come off real cool at first, but then quickly you're going to find out just how incompatible the two of you actually are. So y'all are going to find out if you are with anyone right now who's a pretender. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe.